Mona. 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 What are you doing to me? Hello my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and today I've got another spoiler-free book review to share with you guys. If you've been around my channel for a while, you might have seen me earlier this year do a book talk on Bunny by Mona Awad, which I loved. Or maybe you saw me do a book talk on All's Well by Mona Awad, which I loved. Well, today I've got my most anticipated read of 2023 to talk to you guys about, and that is Mona Awad's forthcoming novel, Rouge. It comes out in September, I believe September 13th. If that's not the correct date, I will correct myself down in the description box. But I'm so excited. I'm so excited that I was able to get my hands on an early copy thanks to NetGalley and the publisher, and that I can now share it with you. So I've got to tell you, I'm happy this isn't a book talk, because if you're new to my channel, the book talks I do are on already published books that have been out for a while, where I go point by point through all the spoilers and all that. Because if I had to do that for this one, first of all, I would sound insane, and second of all, we'd be here for hours. So instead, I'm just going to give you the basic synopsis of this, tell you what I thought, and you can carry on your merry way. So, Rouge, like all of Mona Awad's books, are incredibly surreal, especially as the book goes on. They get more and more and more surreal, which I love. Her books are so incredibly unique. They're so well written. The stories are wild. I often think like it's gotta be the Wild West in this woman's mind. It's just amazing. Anyway, getting off track here. So Rouge, like all of her books, are about many different things. There are so many different layers and things to look at and things to pick apart and talk about. So it's difficult now that I know the whole story of Rouge to give it to you in a bite-sized bite. But here we go. Our main character is a woman named Maribel. Belle if you're her mother, Mira or Maribel if you're not. And Maribel is currently on her way home. Not home, on her way to California, because her mother has passed away rather suddenly from Montreal. That's where she lives. And that's where she grew up with her mom and her grandmother. When Maribel was 10, her mother moved to California to sort of try and pursue a career in acting. And then when Maribel was 15, she joined her there. But now as an adult, she's back in Montreal. And like I said, her mother has passed away. So Maribel has to go and deal with her things, her home, her business, things like that. Just settle everything, sell the house, the regular things. So she gets to California, she meets with like the lawyers and the woman who is partners with her mom in the business, and Maribel is feeling very overwhelmed by all of this. She finds out her mother's in a lot of debt, that her mother actually didn't own the shop that she had previously owned anymore. She sold her portion to her partner. And Maribel's realizing that there's a lot about her mom that she didn't know. And one thing that we learn very quickly about Maribel is she is obsessed with skincare. She likes to watch YouTube videos about it. She has many potions and creams and exfoliants and barriers to protect her skin, sunscreen, everything you can think of. She has a deep, detailed skincare routine that rivals even the most intense beauty YouTubers. And especially at the very beginning, that's very repetitive, her telling us about her skincare routine. And so anyway, she goes to California. When she is there one day, she is in her mother's apartment, and she sees a pair of her mother's shoes, and she puts them on, and she decides she's gonna go take a walk. And this is after she was sitting at a bar in the hotel that she had been staying at before she kind of shifted over to her mother's apartment. And when she was staying at that bar, she kept seeing on her phone ads for this sort of spa called Rouge, where they could do treatments and revitalize your skin and just completely change the way you look. And we know that beauty is something that Maribel has been chasing since she was a young girl. Her mother was a great beauty when Maribel was a little girl, and she always felt as though she wasn't, because her mother's super pale skin, very white, reminds Maribel of winter. She's so pale, and whereas Maribel had an Egyptian father, and so she's more dark-skinned. And she would always compare herself to her mother and feel as though she didn't measure up. But the more we get to know Maribel, I mean, obviously she's also a very beautiful woman. So there's been this like chasing of idealized, perhaps westernized beauty standards her whole life. And now she's deep in the beauty influencer sphere, specifically one woman named Merva, I think, who just really gives her all of the information that she wants and needs about all the newest and latest sort of products and all the must-haves and must-dos. So yeah, now she keeps seeing this advertisement for this spa, local. And so anyway, this night she puts on the shoes, she decides she's gonna go for a walk because why not? And she finds herself quite, without her knowing, but maybe the shoes know, standing outside the gates of a huge sort of mansion on a cliff. And she gets invited inside and she finds that the spa is in there. Now you guys, from there it becomes this sort of whirlwind where she's involved with this group of people who are doing beauty treatments that are so much more than beauty treatments. And so many questions are asked throughout this book. So many truths are presented to you throughout this book. And while it moves more and more into like the surreal, it still keeps showing you things that are very relative and timely, perhaps, and perhaps timeless. But I feel like with the rise of the beauty influencer in the past, 5, 6, or however many years it's been, it definitely raises a lot of very interesting questions. And so that's just one part of it. Underneath it all as well, it's a sort of fairy tale, but like a very fractured, broken, smashed into smithereens fairy tale, where you're getting this whole other story. And then as well, we're shifting perspectives back and forth from Maribel in the present and Maribel when she's a little girl, because as time goes along, we learn that there's a lot of pieces of her memory that are missing. And we learn, together with Maribel, we put together some of the missing pieces of her childhood, and that leads us to make more sense of what's going on in the present with her. And it was so, I started reading it this morning and I feverishly finished it around 6 p.m. tonight, or earlier this evening. I could not stop reading it. And I had the exact same experience with Mona's other 2 books, Bunny and All's Well. I love them so much. And I loved this one just as much, and I can't wait to hopefully soon be able to get a physical copy to add to the collection. I just think she's a writer unlike anyone else currently telling stories. The stories are so unique and so uniquely told that it's really quite something. So it's part indictment of the beauty industry. It's part a look at the ways that we chase this unattainable beauty standard. It's a look at mother and daughter relationships. It's a look at grief. And I mean, that's honestly just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much here, as with any of other any of Mona's other books. I'm so glad that I got to read it, and I can't wait to have a copy of it to add to my shelf. Anyway, you guys, that's gonna just about do it for me for today, because like I said, I don't even know when to stop, how much to tell you. I think it's best to just leave it at that. Let you make up your mind, and if it sounds like something you'd like, mark your calendars for September 13th. Especially, I feel like if you've read Bunny and you loved it, I feel like you'd like this one too. Or maybe also this one, but definitely Bunny. But probably also this one. I loved them both so much, and I loved this one. I think my favorites of these, I know she has a 4th book out as well, and I can't wait to get that. I think it's her first one, maybe. But I think so far, my favorites would go Bunny, Rouge, All's Well. But they're all 5-star reads for me, so it's just a matter of putting them in personal preference, because they're all fantastic. Anyway, if you've read Rouge, let me know in the comments down below, because maybe you're watching this after September 13th. And let me know what you thought. If you haven't, let me know if you've read Bunny and All's Well, which one was your favorite, and let me know if I should read the other one. I can't recall the name off the top of my head, but let me know. I would love to know. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you again real soon. Bye!